And we can see, just waiting for Anna, but I'm sure she's been told that she has a certain amount of time, so she's absolutely right to take it. And this almost reminds me of like a situation, you know, in boxing, Canty, you go back and you don't even sit down in your corner during the break between rounds. You stand right in the center of the ring and say, I'm ready to go. Whenever you want to sit down, let's do it. That has been her mentality the entire time. It's an even match thus far, but we are going to see this next and final game of this 4-game match between Bibisara and Anna Muzychuk to determine the winner. And I believe, James, that if we get an Armageddon, we are likely going to play the open games first and then play the Armageddon, but we'll wait for that to be 100% confirmed, of course.
Okay. Oh, handshake and glitch. Okay, and there we go.
Fast forward, and we're here.
And oh man, they're already on move 12.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. We've seen this opening before. This is one of those matches where we've actually seen the exact same gameplay in both of the games with white and black. You know what I mean, James? Like we're seeing a repeat, maybe slight differences, improvements, but so far, nothing but a pawn has separated these two women at any time during the match. There's been some big advantages, but really only a pawn as an advantage, but ultimately those games being drawn.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what's a pawn between friends, Ahmad? What's a pawn, buddy? You know, it's just
precisely.
A pawn, right?
And sometimes, you know, if you're looking to win in chess, that can be enough. At this level, one pawn can be enough. In this match, it has not been enough just yet. But bishop e6 instead of b5 played, and now queen a4. And let's see what Anna does against this. b5 is being prevented, and this is a slightly different move order that we've seen from last time.
I actually kind of like this too. Is there's like you could damage the structure. Okay, maybe that's a strange idea, but I mean, bishop takes c6 is really real. That was a real idea. Bishop takes and just kind of really wreck the structure there. But she said, you know what, I'm not going for it. I also like the pace that she's playing here. Or they're both kind of playing pretty quickly. They're keeping pieces on. I mean, this could be the final game with one blunder from any side.
So the move rook to e1, a little bit mysterious, but I believe that the idea is c4. We'll see how Bibisara wants to play, but it looks like knight d4. It comes with less of an impact because e2 is now protected, while c4 secures the d5 square for the knight, and then you can follow up with e3. So I think perhaps a slight edge in the position to Bibisara, just cementing that knight on the d5 square, like white's position.
I do too as well with the d5. Well, the difference in the outpost where I can put the knight on d5, you can put the knight on d4, but I can kick yours away. You can't kick mine away. Big difference in the outpost. So now with bishop d7, though, there is, just saying it before she moved it, the queen was on that diagonal, so she moves it off, queen to a3.
Yeah, and a move that is very thematic in this position is actually f4. I mentioned this move the last time that we saw this variation, the last game. The reason is, of course, well, if you take, the queen and rook are not situated in a great spot there. It's a move you can save, though. You can play it later. Just, I do believe f2 to f4 is an idea that white can rely on to generate some play. For now, it looks like we're just improving the position slowly. Bishop c3, queen b2, e3, perhaps even sliding the queen over to the other side of the board while this knight dominates the center. Advantage in this final game to Bibisara.
Advantage to Bibisara. A lot of chess to be played still. Time pretty even. Let's see where she goes. That is knight to e3. That knight's been back and forth to e3 and d5 a few times here. Will she repeat? That could be a draw offer. But does she want to go for that is the question. Here we go. She said, no, not yet. h5. Push that pawn down the road a little bit more. Alpha zero style. h6.
Speaking of Alpha Zero, bishop e4, g4, and f3 is a very committal, but perhaps very interesting way to completely dominate these light squares here. If black, for example, plays the move h6, that would be, I think, a pretty bad move because the light squares that get left behind are so weak. So that's another way that you can play as white, just all in on the light square domination.
Bishop G4, H6. Here we go, G6. So now, yeah, look at the bar move too. But knight E3 is a little bit different now. The bishop on D2 defends H6. How do we make any real progress? Maybe F4 is kind of risky though. Bishop C3, no, that hangs H6. She goes
Bishop
back.
takes H6 though. Isn't this a blunder?
Oh.
Okay, I think it was at least possible to just capture that pawn on H6. So I don't know if we're going to see a repetition there, but knight E3 is definitely not a good move. I think from white's perspective, you go all in. It's time for bishop C3. It's time for F4, queen B2, and just open this diagonal. I think that is the way to play.
Bishop E3 saying a miss there. Bishop E3 just, shuffling. Just making moves, I think.
A double question mark.
Now. Not committing.
James, a double question mark move missed by Bibisara. The idea F3, G4, the bishop has to go to E6 and you lose the F6 pawn there by force. F3 can be played now with the same idea.
She may not be seeing it. She just glanced at the clock.
But the pawn is hanging now. She
doesn't have an idea.
That's true. You can see F3 now because the pawn is hanging, even if it didn't occur to you before.
She takes the knight instead. Sometimes you're just
bishop takes
slightly
D4
off in the game.
Yeah, a little bit.
E3 though.
A little bit. This pawn, by the way, is going to be lost into the wind, right? That H pawn, which was once so strong, without the dark square bishop to support it. Now, suddenly, you start to wonder about that bishop pair and whether it can come alive.
Looking for the tactics. Rook E4, definitely it was a fan. Looking for doubling of the rooks too as well. Rook takes D4. Is that too much? She said, nope, I'm taking those.
Yeah.
Bringing the rook over to H4, hits the bishop.
You want to play rook E1, but it's not possible just yet. Bishop G7, I assume, and bishop E4. Now there's real ideas of taking over the E file, of bringing the knight to F4, and guess what? The D7 rook was loose in that position. This is turning in white's favor.
Really strong trading of the bishops now. Now we don't have to worry about D3. Bringing the rook back to the center and doubling the rooks. White's in a great position.
Yeah, this is really, really powerful now. The rooks are doubled, all in white's favor. The knight on D5 is an absolute beast, controlling the entire board. And after queen F3, there's no queen D1. You have to just go back to F5. Wasted time here for black, and rook E3 is a great response.
Maybe just king G2. Put the rook on F3. Queen C6, good too. Bringing more pieces into
pressure
the position.
Here. There's rook F4.
King
rook
G2
F4
once again.
wins material.
Possible. Oh, rook F4. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, rook F4 is nice.
Also your move, king G2 and rook F3. I do like that as well, but simply rook F4 was the direct way to do the same thing. And this could be it. Bibisara is better here, but is not yet cashing in on potential material here with rook F3, rook E6. You can reroute the queen.
Right. I rerouted.
White is in a great position.
It feels like something's off with that queen right there now. Now rook F3 might be just clean.
Here we go.
Right? Queen G4.
Winning. The rook is hanging.
A rook.
The rook is
off
hanging.
the board. That's a wrap. Bibisara.
Oh my goodness.